What's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. The book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father. It's at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. Link will be in the description box below as usual. The Fight for Happiness is the title of this. You know, as adults, happiness isn't as easy to come by as it was when we were kids. And I think a few reasons play into that is that life isn't sunshine and roses. So to a degree, we're dealing with life in a different dynamic. We can't we deal with the whole spectrum of emotions through a day, through a week, through a month, through a year. So now we're realizing, you know, as a child we were taken care of, but there was a certain freedom in that childness that gave us the freedom to be happy all the time because we could make mistakes and you know we had people to care for us and we had memories. But see, when your happiness became your responsibility, um, now you have to fight for it. And some of us don't. We want to be happy, but we don't want to fight for it. It's easier for somebody to come along and make us happy. It's easier for us to vicariously live through somebody else to get our happiness. It's easier to um, just ride somebody else's happiness, you know, and kind of be on a happy coattails and trickle down happiness. But when it comes to us fighting for our own happiness, it's not that easy. I've noticed this because misery loves company, and the club misery is packed. Club misery is sold out, you know, because whether it be relationships, everybody at some point says they just want to be what? Happy. They don't say they want to be content. They want to be happy. But to be happy in a relationship, that takes sacrifice. That takes teamwork. It takes selflessness. It takes open communication, which you know it takes just common decency and respect, which as of now we're not using in society on a regular basis. So of course what suffers is our happiness, and now we got to fight for all of those things in a relationship to achieve happiness. As far as sometimes our happiness is tied into what we to our achievements and what we feel like we should achieve and where we should be in life and all this, and you know without saying the truth. I mean, the truth of the matter is this: your achievements and your successes may bring you bliss for a momentary moment, but it won't bring you happiness on a daily basis. So even if you make that achievement, you feel great in that moment, but then you're gonna wind up setting another goal, and then you're gonna go through the journey of trying to achieve that goal for your happiness. You're gonna want to make a certain amount of money, and you're gonna go on a journey to take it to a higher level. So you're really not necessarily happy, you know, unless you learn to be happy with the journeys. And a lot of us are not happy with the journeys. We don't like the journey. We like the culmination of the journey. So we're always constantly fighting for that happiness. It's like a high, you know. Um, Sometimes that high is validation, and we're fighting to be validated. So now what? Until somebody pats you on the back or tells you you're great or puts you on a pedestal, you'll never be actually happy. But you're fighting to be somebody's number one. And the question is, is it something wrong with it? I guess it depends on your intent, you know. So, but a lot of us don't want to fight for our own happiness. A lot of us came up rough and we had to fight for stability, um, comfort, the ability to think, fight to have a peaceful home or peaceful environment. We had to fight to have real friends that really cared about us on a regular basis. You know, so for some of us, the fight for happiness is normal. For other people, people feel like they should be entitled to it, and it doesn't work that way, B. You know, some of us are selfless, and our fight for happiness is making our family happy, our children happy, our significant others, maybe our parents and grandparents, nieces, nephews, aunts, uncles, cousins, that type of stuff. When they're okay, we okay. Which in some ways is a good thing, in other ways is a bad thing because, you know, you have to be happy within yourself before you can actually make other people happy. But some people are altruistic like that. So that's why I said some ways it's a good thing, some ways it's a bad thing. Depends on the person you are. But you might have to be willing to fight for it. Like, you know, people get sick, they have to fight for their lives. Sometimes your soul is sick. Sometimes your happiness is sick. And you're going to have to fight to revive it. And some of us are quitters. That's why I said, I think some of us are beaten down by life to the point where we just threw our hands up and just whatever happens, happens. And I don't necessarily think that's a good thing because sometimes adversity is, not sometimes, but adversity is meant to build character if you take the opportunity to turn your negative into a positive. And I think the problem with people and happiness is people are running into too many negatives. You know, if it ain't one thing, it's another. One step forward, two steps back. And then you see people, and then sometimes, excuse me, you realize you have to fight for your happiness on a daily basis. And it's so tedious, it doesn't seem like that's what happiness is. It doesn't seem like happiness should be a daily battle, but, you know, in my opinion, um, you live your life in every aspect. You live your life from joy to pain. Like you got to be just as you got to understand. You're gonna have to understand joy to understand pain. You're gonna have to understand pain to understand joy to realize why both are needed, and vice versa with every other emotion because every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Every balance has a counterbalance. Every yin has its yang. So sometimes you have to actually get out there and search and find your happiness in this cruel world. And it is what it is. Like some people are prepared for it, some people are not. Some people just want it all with nothing attached. But I'm here to tell you that's not how it works. You know. And at the end of the day, um, your life and your happiness is what you make it once you become responsible for it. Because nobody can do it for you. Like your parents can't do it for you. Your children can't do it for you. Your significant other can't do it for you. Um, the other family and friends can't do it for you. People who passed on can't do it for you. You're gonna have to, you know, roll with the punches and come out swinging for your own happiness at some point. Because if you ain't willing to fight for it, then you might not be deserving of it. Just my opinion. I'm out. Uh oh.